Welcome back. Alright, seriously. Welcome back to another Sip and Chill Chat. Today is Friday, April the 22nd. That is a angel number. We got 422, and then we got 2022. So with that said, today what I wanted to talk about in this video is 5 actions that reveal a person's character, or 5 scenarios that can kind of give you insight on a person and who they are. So a little disclaimer before I get started on this. This video isn't about being judgmental. It's just about having fun. You know, I'm making this with the intention of, you know, if you're in the dating scene, you know, you're just out there getting to know people. Maybe you're trying to start a new relationship or bond with somebody. I feel like these are some of the things that, you know, kind of like just gives you a feel for a person. So I said, you know, let's talk about this. Let's talk about it. So 5 actions that can reveal a person's character. Cheers. I should have said cheers first, but cheers. So this is some strawberry lemonade wine that I have right here. And let me tell you, I think I got this from Kroger's. Okay, if you are in Ohio or in any of the states that have a Kroger's, you already know the deal. But I got this from Kroger's, and it was about $5.99. It was on sale, and it is a steal. Let me just say that. Really, really good. But let's get right on into it. Let's get right into it without further ado. Number 1. Okay, so one of the things that I think really gives you insight on a person's character is when you set boundaries and tell a person no. When a person reacts, that is when you get to see their most authentic self. Okay, attitude speaks volumes. You know, it's in that phase of the honeymoon when everything is sweet and kosher. You know, you just coasting along, y'all vibing, and you really catch that person off guard. You start to land some ground rules. When you start to taking them off guard and catching them by surprise by asserting yourself, or, you know, just placing some certain things in place. Okay, the bomb is either going to explode, or, you know, they're going to hit the switch, you know, and say, okay, this is cool. You know, how that person responds to whatever boundary it is that you put into the equation will tell you a lot about who they are. You know, if they act like it's the change of the world, if they act like it's World War III, okay, and if they throw a temper tantrum, okay, that will tell you a lot about who they are. So that is number 1. I feel like that tells you a lot about a person. If a person can handle your boundaries, if a person is able to respect your boundaries, that can give you a feel of who they are. Now, the second thing that I feel like plays a big part in a person's character is how they handle disappointments. Okay, this is kind of like, I guess you could say, feeds off number 1. But 2 of the biggest moments in life is when a person has everything and when a person has nothing. How a person responds in these scenarios will tell you a lot about their character. You know, we are all human, and we respond to losing items. We respond to losing our loved ones and being in tough spots differently. We all grieve differently, you know, but I feel like in these moments, even though they're the most delicate, how we treat people can say a lot about us, you know, because in those moments, that's when we really need people. in those moments when we're going through hardship, that's what we need, that support and that love and the encouragement the most. But if a person is really, just being disgusting and, I guess you could say tearing down the people that they have in their corner, that could tell you a little bit about their character, how they respond to going through those disappointments, how they respond to losing things, those moments when they have everything is great. It's always good for us to be able to move through those smooth sailing. But when it's rough patches, and that person goes to that fluctuation, maybe they lost their job, maybe they're, not doing so good in their business or whatever the case may be, that's a time when you can see a little bit about who they are. So how a person handles disappointment, I would say, and how they treat others, as their circumstances begin to change. Now, number 3, what they find funny. Can they take a joke? Okay, so this is like a 2-part one, I feel like everybody has to have a sense of humor in life. That is the key to emotional freedom and stability at the same time. You got to be able to laugh. You got to be able to take a joke, and it's a way to continue to be humble. It's a way to continue to, stay true to self, I would say. Finding out a person's humor can tell you a little bit about their character, because each and every one of us are raised differently. We come from different backgrounds, and depending on where you're from and what you've been through, your humor may be a little bit different than the next person. But I feel like in regards to the things we laugh about, there are some things that are just not funny. It's kind of like goes without saying that some things you just shouldn't laugh about, and this shouldn't even have to be revealed. But when it comes to like people with disabilities, when it comes to homelessness, when it comes to just sexuality, things like that, I just feel like those things are kind of like off limits. It goes without saying for a person to make fun of these things, let alone to laugh about certain matters. It just kind of shows you where they are. I'm not saying that this makes them a bad person because they find certain things funny, because in comedy, one thing about comedians and stuff, that's an industry that anything goes. And I feel like, you can make any situation funny in life. It's all about perspective. But just certain things, I just feel like, those are kind of like issues and situations you kind of like have to be mindful about laughing about, because, what goes around comes around. You can generate situations that aren't so good for yourself. So it's just wise to like be mindful of the things that a person finds funny. What are the things that they're posting on their social media that they are getting likes about? I feel like that's also a big one that can tell you a little bit about a person's character. Also, can they take a joke? If a person, if you say something, can y'all share a laugh about it? Can y'all break the ice and get through those little awkward moments and situations that are normal in human nature? So that's number 3. What do they find funny, and can they take a joke? Now, number 4, spare time. So spare time, I would say that also says a lot about a person's character. What is it that they value in their spare time? Each and every one of us has 24 hours in a day, and what we choose to do is what we choose to do. Do as thou wilt. But, what the person does when they have nothing to do with their time, they tell you more about who they are, what their values are, and, who they are as a person, who you're dealing with, how do they stay occupied? Sometimes we do nothing in our spare time. Sometimes we like to be active. it varies from person to person, but if a person is not doing anything at all with their time all the time, hey, this might draw up a couple eyebrows, like, okay, all right, okay, all right, on to number 5. So number 5 is keeping their word. What they do with information. This also is kind of like a part to, I guess you can say, situation. I feel like a person keeping their word is a sign of integrity. When a person is able to follow through what they say they're going to do, it says a lot about who they are. It means that they value your time and they value their word, and they stand on what they stand by, what they stand on. So that also can give you an insight on a person's character. If you set certain times to go do certain things, or if that person just says they're going to do something for you, if they follow through on that, and if they're honest, because a person keeping their word is about honesty. Not saying that we keep it, honest 24/7 in our lives. It's natural to have little white lies here, whatever the case may be. But, I feel like when it comes to keeping your word and just, simple things like that, that's something to consider. And, what they do with the information that you give them. If it's something that can help them in their lives, do they listen? Do they follow up on that? Or, if it's something that, you yourself are sharing with them on a personal matter, are they going to go run and tell their friends or their family member, can they keep things sacred? That's something else I think can give you insight on a person's character, is what they do with information. And like I said, it's not about being judgmental or anything like that, but it also could just give you an insight of where they are at that point in their life. Because I feel like, we go through different phases in our lives, and get into the place where, these things are not even questionable or nothing that's a struggle and stuff. It takes the time to get to. So it's not something to like say, oh, this person is a bad person or anything like that. As I said, it's just something that you can consider when it comes to finding out a person's character. These are 5 things I think can really give you insight on a person's character. I hope that you enjoyed this little sip and chill chat today. If you did, be sure to hit that thumbs up button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what your thoughts are on this topic. Appreciate you all tuning in, and I will catch you in the next one.